Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin the ceremony. Please turn off your cell phones or switch them to the silent mode and keep the center aisle clear. Will you please rise? For the Board of Trustees, the faculty, and the senior class of ACS, remain standing for the national anthem of the Republic of Lebanon and the United States of America. Thank you.
Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthems. Please be seated. ACS trustees, faculty and staff, friends and family, and distinguished guests. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 111th commencement ceremony at the American Community School of Beirut for the great class of 2022. I would also like to welcome our guests from the American government, Charge d'Affaires Mr. Richard Michaels, Regional Security Officer Mr. Jason Smith, and Deputy USAID Mission Director Mr. Nicholas Vivio. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. Last weekend, I was in the United States to attend the high school graduation of my daughter, Celia. Being back in the Northeast, which is where I am from and where I went to college, triggered so many happy memories of quiet times I spent hiking in New England forests. New England soil was notoriously rocky, and as early farmers went about the process of clearing their lands and trees and cultivating the soil, they unearthed rocks of all shapes and sizes. Rather than searching for a place to dispose of these rocks, these New England farmers instead used them to build walls that marked their lands and separated them from their neighbors. The landscape of the New England region of the United States is littered with ancient stone walls, or at least the tattered remnants of them. Robert Frost's poem, Mending Wall, is about an encounter between two neighbors meeting for their annual spring ritual, walking the line of the stone wall and repairing the damage wrought by the harsh New England winter. When one farmer asks the other why they are repairing a wall that serves no practical purpose, the other farmer replies with a simple adage that he learned from his father: good fences make good neighbors. Unsatisfied, the first farmer asks, why do they make good neighbors? Before I build a wall, I want to know what I was walling in or walling out. That something so heavy and seemingly solid could suffer such damage causes him to think. Looking at the strewn boulders lying on the ground, he observes, something there is that doesn't love a wall, that wants it down. Frost was contemplating both physical walls and metaphorical walls in his poem. Our seniors have dealt with a metaphorical one, a wall of physical separation. They began their high school years in the autumn of 2018. During their second year of high school, school was disrupted first by Thawra and the ensuing financial crisis in Lebanon, and then by the global pandemic. For the better part of 2 academic years, these students endured the many challenges of remote learning, not least of which was the feeling of being isolated from friends, teachers, and extended families. Yes, technology allowed them to function and for learning to happen, but so much more was lost in the process. Emotions, feelings, closeness, physical touch, these are difficult or impossible to translate via a Zoom meeting. Students could not help but feel a measure of loneliness and isolation as a result. I give our graduates tremendous credit for successfully navigating such difficult times. I know it wasn't easy. Now that things are getting back to normal, I worry about something else. I worry that this generation of high school graduates has been lulled into thinking that technology connects us. Technology can certainly do this on a convenient, practical, and superficial level. But technology, particularly social media platforms, can also have the opposite effect. It can make us feel left out, isolated, inadequate, and alone. If we allow it, technology can be another metaphorical wall that often presents the in-person, face-to-face conversations and interactions we so desire and need. I worry about other walls as well. It has become increasingly the fashion in much of the world to emphasize our differences rather than all the things we have in common. Religion, ethnicity, race, nationality, social status, and class, these are all being employed to encourage people to view others as alien, as foreign, as enemy. We have observed so many leaders of so many groups carelessly, I would say recklessly, constructing walls between groups within local, national, and even international communities. Like the walls in Robert Frost's poem, these walls are man-made. They are manufactured. They aren't natural. I have two great hopes for all of you, graduates of the class of 2022. First, don't let the ease of technological connection prevent you from experiencing a real connection with people you care about and love. A face-to-face encounter is more meaningful than a text. Hearing a voice is so much more impactful than reading one. Second, don't ever fall for the seductive rhetoric of those wall builders who want you to believe you are part of a special group, a special tribe. Always be sure to thoughtfully consider the question that Frost's New England farmer asked, what am I being asked to wall in and wall out? I will close by returning to Frost's refrain. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that wants it down. At university, in your work, in your life as you live it, I ask that you let that something be you. Congratulations, and good luck to you all. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce Nina Jakowski-Kaprulu, Chair of the Board of Trustees.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. The special privilege I have in being here today is something that I take very personally and is close to my heart. And to celebrate this momentous occasion with the class of 2022 is truly an honor. Briefly, Sam Constan, who most of you don't know, but are trustees who are attending here today in great strength, was my predecessor as trustee board president. He died this year. He was 86 years old. As a reminder, trustees are unpaid volunteers who give their time, wisdom, and donate to ACS. Many of us attended ACS, but there are a handful who didn't. As a board, we represent many skills, professions, talents, and philosophical points of view that we openly share and deliberate on. In short, our bylaws are rooted in traditional American school values of governance. I'm from the class of ACS 1979. I live in New York. I travel to Beirut about 5 times a year, and not, by the way, at the school's expenses. And that is true of all our US trustees and Lebanese who go back and forth for ACS. The same was true of Sam. The following resolution in honor of Sam Constan was entered into the Board of Trustees minutes yesterday. Whereas, the Board of Trustees of the American Community School at Beirut, Lebanon, notes with sadness and sustained disbelief the death of the former president, Sam Constan. He is ACS class of 1953. And whereas Mr. Constan was always active in the Alumni Association and elected as trustee in 1990, when Lebanon was just emerging from civil war. And whereas he served for 13 years as board chairman, ending his service upon the celebration of the school's 100th anniversary. And whereas in the time he presided over the growth of ACS's student body from 4 students, to its robust 2006 community of over 1,000. And whereas leading by example, he worked tirelessly to improve all aspects of the school. And whereas in his faithful board attendance, as well as untold extra phone conferences at all hours of the day or night with the head of school, first with Catherine Bashore and George Damon, Sam offered advice, encouragement, trust, and discretion. And whereas his grace was exceeded only by his stamina attending over 20 graduations, now therefore let it be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the American Community School expresses its lasting appreciation to this loyal, generous, inimitable trustee who continued to serve and meet on board during board meetings up until 2019. In the 2006 yearbook, Sam's last year as the trustee president, he wrote, and this is for you guys, ACS students think outside the box. They learn to respect one another, are confident that their individuality is preserved. Do not rely on rote learning. Show a depth in thought and respect for intellectual honesty and analysis. Value and participate enthusiastically in community service. ACS students go outside the box and question everything. Maybe your parents, to their chagrin a little bit, but never mind. Question everything, which is what differentiates them from students in other schools. His statement is still true for the class of 2022, graduating today. As newly to be minted alumni, know that each of you qualify as an ACS trustee. You are the stewards of the school's future. Congratulations to you and to your parents, with whose support you wouldn't be here today. But finally, after his first year of service at ACS, the board knows it is blessed to have Tom Congiano, a very experienced and dedicated educator, as head of school. Mr. Congiano is devoted to bringing the best teaching practices possible to ACS. Thank you, Mr. Congiano, for your leadership. And finally, because many of you have been here quite a while, I ask all of you in the class of 2022 to stand. And I ask you to join me in applauding your teachers. Thank you very much.
The recipients of the President's Awards for Academic Excellence have maintained during their high school studies a grade point average of 3.5 on a 4-point scale and receive recommendations or demonstrated high achievement on standardized tests. Students, if your name is called for a President's Award, please stand in your place and remain standing until the last name is announced. Audience members, we ask that you reserve your applause for award recipients until the final name is called. At this time, I would like to ask Charge d'Affaires of the United States Embassy in Beirut, Mr. Richard Michaels, to read a letter from President Biden and announce the President's Awards recipients for educational excellence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Head of School. Appreciate that. And thank you very much for having my embassy colleagues and me here today. It is especially poignant for me as a Lebanese American to be an institution that brings the best of Lebanon and the United States. And a special shout out to all of the IB diploma holders, or soon to be holders. As a IB alum myself, Alf Mabruk. So from President Biden, congratulations on receiving the 2022 President's Education Award. Young leaders like you are why the First Lady and I are more optimistic about the future more than ever. This award is a testament to your hard work, tenacity, and perseverance. especially during these difficult times. You have shown your family, friends, school, and community what you can accomplish, and you should be very proud. You are part of the most gifted and talented generation in our history, and the world is going to need you. Keep studying hard, and remember to always lead by example. I have every confidence that you will translate your talents into greater opportunity, happiness, and prosperity for yourself and the world. Your future is bright. Signed, President Joe Biden. So special congratulations to the following recipients. Adam Tefeli, Adita Bargava, Celine Effendi, Sai Khaldi, Elias Ziede, Farah Murtala, Jad Hanene, Karim Shahedi, Karim Farhat, Kian Azad, Laith Jarudi, Lian Faran, Mazen Salha, Morgan Suma, Noor Merhi, Rawad Sa'ar, Rain Saad, Ren Sahradin, Rihanna Kobesi, Saeed Al-Qadi, Shireen Al-Hout, Simone Tenenti, Tiffany Wickens, and finally, Zaid Al-Mas'ani. Alf Mabruk, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Michaels, and congratulations to the recipients of the President's Award for Educational Excellence. Thank you also to the grade 12 parents, and a special thank you to the teachers who have contributed to the education of these fine young women and men. You probably deserve louder applause than that. It hasn't always been easy. We've had a lot of disagreements, but we can all agree on that. But class of 2022, you will be long remembered. I know you well, and if there's one thing I've come to learn, it's that you want nothing less than to be immortal. You'll live forever in ACS lore. So, where to begin with this group, if not with the subject of discipline? Many of you have attended this institution for nearly all of your lives, and discipline seems to be the subject that comes up most frequently when anybody speaks about the class of 2022. Indeed, when you were in grade 8 on your way up, I heard a lot of stories, many of them from Mr. Livingston, who for some reason decided to come back. I can't say I wasn't warned. But even so, I also cannot say that I was prepared for what was going to come next. None of us were. Yet here we are, strong as ever, even though we lost a few students along the way. Some of them came back. That's good to see. Rosie, I told you not to let any of them in. Somehow they came in. So most of us are back. We've lost a few students, and we've also, if you'll remember, we've lost a few chairs up on the 5th floor patio. And those broken chairs are why we need to talk about discipline.
but I'm going to try a different approach. I'm a slow learner, but I'm going to try a different approach with discipline. Celine Effendi, I commend you on the discipline you have shown with your focus, your intensity, and your leadership in being front and center with MUN and Tiny Desk. Sai, you deserve recognition for your discipline too. You held our TEDx talk together, and you learned firsthand what it's like to have a demanding and sometimes unreasonable boss. Noor Alamin, you rolled up your sleeves and muscled your way through your math. Well done. Aditya, Morgan, Kian, Ilyas, Leon. This list is long, and I can't name everyone. Suffice it to say that self-discipline among the members of the class of 2022 is unique and remarkable. The students I've identified prove the truth of an old saying, discipline is not the enemy of enthusiasm. When I went to retrieve the source of this quotation, I'd originally heard it in a movie many years ago. I ended up finding a long article in Psychology Today by a guy named Dr. Michael Friedman. He was expounding upon this idea, and he went on to say, not only is discipline not the enemy of enthusiasm, but discipline is perhaps the only way to nurture enthusiasm. Friedman explains that discipline gives us the routine and the structure that cultivates passion. And passion can make us dream big. A lack of discipline can make you self-destructive and reckless. But an excess of discipline can make you soar and can take you to dizzying heights. So now I have a story about flying. You may have heard of an American songwriter named Johnny Cash. If not, it's enough to know that old American dudes such as myself tend to like him. He used to record at Columbia Records, and there was a janitor there with a big dream. He kept giving Cash this demo tape, and Johnny Cash kept smiling at him and then ignoring him and throwing the demo tape away. As it happened, the janitor was also a pilot in the National Guard. Determined to get the demo to Johnny Cash, this aspiring songwriter borrowed a helicopter, borrowed in finger quotes. He borrowed a helicopter and flew it over Johnny Cash's property, disembarked from the helicopter, and handed the demo directly to him. And the song on that tape ended up going to #1. This brings me to my second quotation. If what you desire is out of reach, if your dreams feel too lofty, then you must learn to fly towards them. That janitor quite literally flew towards his lofty dreams. But for me, this story takes place on the ground. I keep going back to the guy who hands over the demo tape day after day and gets ignored and rejected. Very, very few people get off the ground when they're getting pushed down that hard. But that gentleman sure did. I think it was his self-discipline that gave him the routine and the structure to concoct the dream of being a songwriter in the first place. I picture him every morning with a cup of coffee, pen and paper, and his guitar. He does it long enough, and he convinces himself that he's got something good enough for Johnny Cash. Then he takes a job at a record studio, pretends he's a janitor, and tries to get as close as possible. And when that doesn't work, all he's got left is to borrow a helicopter and take flight. If you miss the point of the story, you'll skip past all the long hours of work, and you'll just borrow that helicopter that's not yours. But if you get the message, you know that writer finally broke through because he put in the long hours at his desk. It was the routine and the structure that allowed him to land that helicopter and sell that song. So seniors, you too will fly high, and more important, you'll land safely if you put the time in and do the work. Next up are two musicians themselves. Celine and Simone are going to come and sing a medley for you.
Check. Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Celine. This is Simone. And everyone keeps asking me what song we're going to perform today, and I keep on telling them that the song doesn't exist because it's actually a mashup that was originally written for one of our friends who had moved away just about 2 years ago. And since then, the lyrics have sort of taken on their own meaning. And Simone mentioned that it was really nice how one of the lines in this song goes, "This is the end of everything, so why don't we go somewhere only we know?" And there's this really beautiful thing about the mashup, and that's that the song "Somewhere Only We Know" is sort of about the end of something big, whereas "Yellow" is sort of about the start of something new. And so they do call this ceremony a commencement because as much as we are here to celebrate the past years of success, we are also here to turn the page and start a new chapter. And so here's to the end of an era and the start of another.
Look how they shine for you, and all the things that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Celine and Simone. We're going to present 5 awards now. All of the following awards are determined through a nomination and vetting process carried out by the entire high school teaching and coaching faculty. These 5 awards represent formal recognition of excellence across the domains of scholarship, athleticism, leadership, service, and character. The first award is called the Farah Family Athletic and Leadership Award. I ask Mr. Fauzi Farah to come to the stage to present the award after I read about the recipient. This award is given to a student who not only excels in our ACS athletics program, but carries forward this same accomplishment in demonstrating skill, sportsmanship, leadership, and commitment beyond the school and into the local community. This student at core is one who has taken their leadership ability, expressed initially in athletic endeavors, only to further grow and apply it elsewhere. This year's recipient is an ideal role model of the student athlete. They at once demonstrate passion for sport and a commitment to the ACS community through their work on the student council. I've watched this student grow tremendously over the past 4 years. Beginning in G9 as a student who was summoned to my office on several occasions to talk his way out of trouble. By G11, if he was in my office, it was to represent the concerns of his fellow students or to promote an idea for an assembly, or possibly to see if he could get December exams pushed back or maybe canceled. The last time I listened to this person, I ended up in a dunk chair. Very safe seat on that particular day, I must say. This year's recipient has grown into a leader who puts others before him, who serves others rather than seeking for himself. Please join me in congratulating this year's Farah Family Athletic and Leadership Award recipient, Zaid Al-Masrani. I'd like to invite Mr. Mo Harani to the stage to present the Blair Harcourt Award.
Thank you and congratulations, Zaid. The next award this evening is the Blair Harcourt Award, which is given to one senior with academic and athletic distinction, who is not only a talented athlete, but exhibits leadership skills, exceptional sportsmanship, and unfailingly positive attitude. The student also excels in the classroom, as the award calls for a GPA of 3.3 or higher in grades 10 through first semester of their senior year. This year's recipient of this award exhibits the qualities of determination, grit, perseverance, and tenacity. While these qualities are usually fitting for a strong athlete, this recipient portrays these qualities in every aspect of their student life. It is evident in her outstanding academic career, her participation in the athletics and activities program, and the community service program. In addition, and maybe to me even more importantly, this person is kind, funny, and a friend to all of the team, whether older or younger. In my observation, this person always acts with grace and kindness, which is one of the traits that I respect most about her. Ms. Baidoun, one of the coaches who work closely and regularly with her, specifically says that she has a tremendous amount of courage, especially with taking on tough tasks or positions on the team. Examples of which are being a tenacious defender in soccer, or picking up a volleyball for the first time and becoming one of the key players on the team. She is the last woman standing and the biggest fighter on the team, or the dynamo, as Ms. Baidoun puts it together. This young lady also has a great sense of humor, which creates an amazing atmosphere, and her contagious smile and laughter are carried across all her interactions. Please join me in congratulating this year's Blair Harcourt Awards recipient, Leanne Farran. I invite Ms. Joanne Saad to present the Fine Arts Award.
The next award this evening is the Fine Arts Award, which, as the name suggests, is a recognition of one senior outstanding effort and achievement in one or more of the fine arts. However, in fact, such a technical quality only informs part of the criteria of this award. In addition to the diligence and skill required of impactful art, an award winner must also maintain a minimum GPA of 3.5 in all fine arts courses taken at ACS and have extended their artistic talents beyond the classroom to benefit the school. The arts play an important role in lifting spirits, bringing people together, and inspiring us all, especially during difficult times. So what can I say about this year's recipient? And as Mr. McLean says, the performing arts are in their blood. They are passionate, proactive, creative, dynamic, compassionate, playful, humble and strong, yet a quiet leader. Music is their passion and how music connects with the human spirit. They share their music talents as a composer, performer, storyteller to shine the light on what's happening in our world today. At ACS, they were a driving force behind Tiny Desk, a student-driven initiative that crafts and coordinates themed concerts focused on celebrating a shared love for music. They have also proven to be a dynamic theatre student, as well as an active participant with after-school theatre project as an actor, designer, musician, and director. Working effectively and willingly in collaboration with others in the creative process, but not afraid to be brave and articulate in defending their own beliefs. The arts are essential to the human spirit. It makes you think and takes you places. And this year's recipient has definitely done that and more. Please join me in congratulating this year's Fine Arts Award winner, Simone Tanetti. I'd like to invite Ms. Rana Masri to present the Citizenship Award.
The Citizenship Award goes to a senior of history of exceptional contribution to both the school and the wider community. Several criteria must be met for eligibility for the Citizenship Award, including participation in school and/or community service, showing a positive attitude toward classmates, school, and community, displaying an understanding and appreciation of civic responsibilities, possessing strength of character and the courage to do what is right. And finally, but perhaps most significantly, promoting citizenship within school or community through other activities. Among all, this year the Citizenship Award will go to a student who believes that civilizations grow and develop only with active citizens who are always willing to go the extra mile and serve their school and community with sweat and tears. A senior who took every opportunity to support our community, who worked hard to spread positivity among peers, and who, despite all challenges, walked in every morning with a big smile and never hesitated to take every chance to make this year memorable to all seniors. To top it all, this student supported various student initiatives with maturity and spoke on their behalf at administrative level. Please join me in congratulating this year's Citizenship Award recipient, Adam Tfaili. I invite Ms. Rosie Mhanna to present the Walter Prosser Award.
It's wiped out. So the Walter Prosser Award, I'm honored to be giving this year. And I want you to listen to every single word in the description, because Mr. Campana said we should read the award descriptions and then we can enter in a few comments about the student. And after reading the award description, I realized that this student embodies every single word in this description. So pay attention, because that is going to be mainly my point. The Walter Prosser Award Walter Prosser selflessly served for years on ACS's Board of Trustees. He embodied what is best in a liberal education. He was a problem solver, a well-read and cultured person, a lifelong learner, a responsible person, caring, intelligent, and thoughtful of others. This award goes to a student who exhibits this exact spirit. This student who receives this award has to have maintained a high academic standing and has to have demonstrated exceptional application of their learning in contribution to the school and community. It is our most prestigious award. This student moved into our office, in the development office, last year and literally never moved out. The last day of school for seniors was, I think, in April, and every single day, this student remained in my office, working for the school, never stopping, not at the beach, not anywhere. He learned a lot of things about marketing, design, branding. We've put him through the ringer, learning much more than the academic stuff that his brilliant teachers have taught him. This child is going places, and I'm sure you all know exactly who I'm talking about today. So I would just like to quote, because you've all quoted some very brilliant people, but I'm going to quote David Ogilvy, the godfather of advertising. And he says, "Do not count the people you reach. Reach the people that count. And Saeed, if you do that, you're unstoppable. Saeed Al-Qadi.
That last one was very suspenseful. Each year, the senior class chooses a teacher to address the group, someone they find caring, inspiring, dedicated to the profession, a role model. This year, the senior class has chosen Ms. Claire Shalhoub to give that address.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, class of 2022. Instead of giving a speech tonight, I decided to write a poem. The world awaits you. 7.7 billion people. You have challenges to face, to overcome, to embrace, just like you've done to make it where you're sitting right now. Be proud of that fact. This fall, when you start your next chapter, show resilience in the face of despondence. Don't let the daily grind distract you from what's important. Don't let the problems take over your world. Don't let social media-inspired FOMO pressure you to conform. You've had practice. Be fearless in the face of adversity. Diversity is what the world needs. WMD, big data algorithms, fake news, post-truth, nationalism, terrorism, digitalization, globalization, global warming, decarbonization. Change is the only constant, as they say. Contrast change with your internal lives and the monologue inside your head. If the alarm bell is ringing, step up, embrace it. But as you move into the future, be mindful. The algorithm has its eyes on you. It's your cue. It's what you do that matters. The world awaits you. Whether you're in Boston, Beirut, London, or Los Angeles, you are the heirs to the globe. You offer fresh hope to a world that needs what you uniquely have to propose. Your personal lives have a global dimension that our generations did not. Your daily moves and choices influence, impact, impel the lives of others thousands of kilometers away. Governments, employers, employees, educators, students were the way. In your world, those distinctions are disappearing, replaced instead by a compunction to cooperate, collaborate, communicate. Clarity is power. Maintain a clear vision through the fog. Uncover, discover your political and religious biases, your racial and gender privileges, your unwitting complicity in institutional oppression. Be humble and find firm, ethical ground. The world awaits you. Translate the good things of your learning at ACS into the welfare of others. Leave a legacy of your own personal dimension. Not bling or money, but integrity, humility, civility. Failures and fallacy may lie ahead, but so do family, faith in the future, and fulfillment. Imposter syndrome, that feeling of being in the wrong place, may rear its ugly head. You will find that average can achieve greatness, whether you're recognized by the whole world or just a few. You are unique and have something special to do. Conquer life in your own fantastic way. Re-examine, rebuild, and reinvent yourselves multiple times over. The learn to work trajectory is gone. In its stead, work, learn, work, learn, work, learn, creating opportunity to reinvent yourselves multiple times over. The pace of technological change is staggering, knitting together the world more tightly than ever. Globalization of services is soaring. The shelf life of skills is steadily shrinking. Whatever skill you possess today is fastly becoming obsolete. Expect to change jobs and professions multiple times. The world awaits you. ACS has endeavored to equip you to become curious, passionate, dedicated community members. Take ownership of the path before you. Education doesn't stop after you graduate tonight, or after your college degree, or after an MBA, or even a PhD. Only through continuous learning can we add to the vast knowledge of eternity. Acquisition of wisdom is a moral duty, as they say. It's not just something you do to advance in life superfluously. Remember to give back. When you've achieved what you've set out to, give back to your community. Remember that collective success is more important than individual competition and glory. Forge relationships with purpose and intention. Grant others agency and voice. Leave those with whom you cross paths with a little extra happiness, hope, and dignity. The world awaits you. Lebanon needs you. Lebanon compels you to examine its past. Don't let it overpower you, but do persist, resist, prevail through dialogue, diplomacy, and dedication. Democracy has been forestalled, although recently recalled. We have at one time been deafened. Never allow you or Lebanon to be defeated. Look back to Lebanon. Keep it in your sights. You've been part of the same storm, but you were never, nor are you now, in the same boat as your compatriots. So as you weather this storm, be sure to do so with compassion, understanding, integrity, and grace. Everything has a beginning. Everything comes to an end. We mourn your leaving. We celebrate your rebirth, your transition, your transformation. As you segue into your next life, we send you on your journey with love, appreciation, and gratitude that we were able to share a part of it with you. So get going. The world awaits you. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce our student speakers for the evening, Ms. Liane Farhan and Mr. Saeed Al-Qadir.
Good evening.
I'm Saeed Al-Ade,
I'm Lian Farran.
and it's our honor to, after a 2-year hiatus, be back at the AUB Assembly Hall delivering the student remark together at the 111th commencement ceremony of ACS Beirut.
Thank you, class of 2022, for entrusting us with delivering these few words. We really hope that we won't disappoint. And thank you to our ACS faculty, staff, families, and distinguished guests who are here to share this special moment with us. We are eternally grateful for your support.
Today,
And every day.
we'd like to dedicate our time with you to honoring our class's story, to attempting to provide some semblance of closure to our 15-year-long narrative. We'd like to seize this story the way we usually begin them: an introduction, an exposition, and a role profile of who the class of 2022 is. So, who are we?
The class of 2022 joined ACS in 2007, a cohort of 33 mismatched students that together made up a boisterous and rowdy canvas. A canvas that by the 9th grade became well known for their group suspensions. Even a few weeks ago, a passing glance into our senior lounge that resembled a zoo would imply that not much has changed. Still, we all feel that very much has.
Today we stand together, a graduating class of 60 students with 19 of those initial lifers. Only a third of us having fixed their standing in our class for its full decade-and-a-half-long lifespan, but all of us having inscribed their own quirks onto our puzzle. The soft spritz and drizzle of each individual character together makes up the class of 2022. We are all a class of 2022.
Evolution often occurs naturally, especially at international schools where frequent faculty and student turnover is commonplace. However, the factors that have contributed to our agility and to the recasting of our puzzle cannot be considered commonplace by any standards.
It feels comforting and refreshing to be here today in a well-rehearsed and well-anticipated event, qualities not shared by much of our grade's evolution over the past few years. Members of the class of 2022, as ACS and as Lebanon, have not always found themselves actively thrusting through life so much as we found ourselves being thrust through it.
In the past 15 years, the ACS class of 2022 has been pressed to bid farewell to many of its original pieces. We've been splintered, fragmented, and occasionally fractured. We are all the class of 2022.
Adaptive resilience. This buzz term was coined and then severely overused and overworked in the past few years to characterize the Lebanese experience. Still, its tones, though cliched, ring true in charting our retrospective journey today.
October 2019, February 2020, August 2020. References to specific months over the past few years alone bring with them rushes of emotion to many. Of a patriotic crude, of reluctant dejection, of muffled gratefulness, and of complete desolation.
The class of 2022 has been marked by both impromptu additions and premature departures that have weaved their way into the patchwork of our narratives.
The class of 2022 has lost pieces of its puzzle that never found their way back home.
The class of 2022 has been propelled to remember, but not for a moment, resent the interrupted quality of many of our stories. We are all the class of 2022.
As a class, our time together can be broken down to not moments, but feelings, sound bites that have together made up our school experience.
From feelings of intense pride for a grade level that collectively uses sports as an outlet, crowned regional champions of both girls and boys football 2 years in a row,
to feelings of chronic frustration as a pandemic inevitably barred our chances from ever competing in a varsity tournament.
Feelings of sheer terror when we feared that one of our own might not make it to tomorrow.
To feelings of acute amnesia when we now try to fathom the fact that we spent 15 whole months online.
and finally some feelings of soft jealousy as IB seniors frantically roam the halls between exams only to peek into the pool party in, you guessed it, the senior lounge.
To begs for mercy from Ms. Gita as we walk into her office demanding our third late pass of the semester. Grounds for a suspension.
We are all the class of 2022.
Individual sentiments are what are and what will continue to shine through, because the class of 2022 is not cautiously but religiously optimistic. The class of 2022 was first swayed together, being thrust through these life experiences as one. Slowly, though, the class of 2022 learned not to sway, but to actively move together.
We said it in the beginning of the year, and we say it again now. These aren't the 1970s, but the class of 2022 still marches on with wartime strength and courage. The class of 2022 is disinclined to accept the reduction to a mere status of adaptive resilience. No, the class of 2022 is resistant, the class of 2022 is defiant, and the class of 2022 is revolutionary.
The class of 2022 is bound together by a connection so much deeper than a shared life experience.
The class of 2022 is a puzzle with no clean-cut edges, but with an imperfect yet undoubtedly true alignment of belonging, of connection, and of story.
The term class of 2022 first blankets 60 individual fighters who were and who are here to stay, some physically and others in heart.
Today, though, the fate of our puzzle is being sealed by not only the 60 of us that are wearing their caps and gowns, but by all of us.
And so in this exercise of reflection, it's clear it hasn't been a small feat.
That it's these different fragments that make not our puzzle, but our entire story complete.
From those who convinced us that when washing, we must always rub our palms.
To the distinguished faculty you see beside us, and hella your moms.
These thanks that we give, we genuinely don't give out of duty.
We do this as a reminder that we've all had a shared stake in this beauty.
An affirmation that once we all go our separate paths, we're still grounded together.
And that rain, thunder, wind, or shine, we belong to ACS forever. We are all the class of 2022. Ahla sahla.
Thank you, Saeed and Leanne. I now invite the Rafi Mandalian Jazz Trio to the stage to perform Lean On Me with vocals performed by ACS alumna from the class of 2010, Sima Itaim.
Is this on? Yes, it is. I wanted to congratulate each and every one of you. You may not all know me, but I remember being on this stage in this hall, graduating 12 years ago, and I don't know how the time has passed, but it has. And I know it's been a very tough couple of years, but you made it. So I wanted to congratulate you for that. And it's not always going to be easy, but it's always going to be worth it. And I think personally that you should always be fearless, and you should never hesitate to ask for help. And it's amazing that you've come this far. So thanks for having me on your stage, and I really congratulate you for today and the rest of your life.
Sometimes in our lives
face tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For there'll come a time when I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow. For there'll come a time when all you need, you'll have to show. Well, you just call on me, brother, and I'll lend a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. All have a problem that you might understand. We just need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For there'll come a time when I too will need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, and I'll lend a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road and I'll share that load. If you just call me if you need a hand. Call me if you need a friend. Why don't you call me if you need a hand? Call me if you need a friend. Call me if you need a hand or if you need a friend. Call me if you need a hand or if you need a friend. Someone to lean on if you need a hand. Why don't you call me? Call me. Call me. Thank you. Congrats again. Thank you so much.
To assist in the presentation of diplomas to the class of 2022. The time is here.
Row 1, please rise. علي طارق عبادي. إيليا عبد النور. أندرو أبو رزق. نور نصوحي الأمين. فؤاد علي البعينو. هادي مهدي القباني. فارس المعصراني. With distinction, زيد سامي المعصراني. باسل صالح عاصي. فارس صالح عاصي. آدم شوقي أيوب. With distinction, Kian Azad. زينة عزت بيدون. With high distinction, Aditya Bhargav. With distinction, Lilith Anis Blazek. Row 2, please rise. مريم فهد بوزوير. With high distinction, Karim Muhammad Shhadi.
باولو مالديني محمد شريف. With high distinction, Celine Kalista Effendi. كريم عمر البلطجي. إبراهيم جمال الشعار. ليان بلال الشريف. ألكسندر جورج يوسف الحداد. محمد حسن الحريري. With distinction, شيرين محمود الحوت. With high distinction, سعيد القاضي. سامي طلال الخليل. هانا شوقي فقيه. With high distinction, كريم حسام فرحات. عمر فاروقي. Row 3, please rise. With high distinction, ليان الفران. عمر ماجد حمودي. فراس علي هاشم. With high distinction, جاد بسام حنيني. سيرين ماهر حسيني. جواد مروان جابر. جوليا جمال الدين. With high distinction, ليث مروان جارودي. With high distinction, Sai Razak Khalidi. With high distinction, Rayana Hussam Qubaisi. Zain Muhammad Kuba. Ryan Mashnou. Karim Mazen Mardini. Saini Bikila Merga. With high distinction, Noor Bassam Mirai. Row 4, please rise. With high distinction, Farah Murtada. Adnan Samir Awais. With high distinction, Ren Hussein Saad. With distinction, Rawat Hassan Saad. With distinction, Mazen Makram Salha. Nagam Diala Salha. Jafar Shahabanda. With high distinction, Morgan Joanne Suma. With distinction, Simone Tenenti. With high distinction, Adam Arafat Twaili. Artem Timoshenko. With high distinction, Tiffany Drew Wickens. Muhammad Ali Nassar Yatim. With high distinction, Ren Nabil Zahreddin. With high distinction, Elias Mark Fuad Ziade. Seniors, please rise. Mr. Cangiano and ACS Board of Trustees, I declare these students to have successfully fulfilled all requirements for graduation from American Community School Beirut and present to you the class of 2022. Graduates, you may now move your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations. ACS class of 2022.
around. Everybody goes to town. But here's something you should know. Oh, baby, oh. Sing, 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 sing. Everybody's gonna sing. La-di-da, oh. Now you're singing words. Sing, sing, everybody start to sing. La-di-da, oh, now you're singing with a swing. Sing, 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 everybody start to sing. La-di-da, oh, now you're singing with a swing. And when the music goes around, everybody goes to town. But here's something you should know. Oh, baby, oh, sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing. La-di-da, oh, now you're singing with a swing. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do- Really, I do body for